Dolls are super cute. Mostly. Okay, some might be a little creepy. Hi there, welcome to the Teeny Tinkers channel. I make doll and craft related content. It is October, it is Halloween season. So dolls have a reputation for being a little creepy, but you know, maybe some are. What better time than now to rank some of the creepiest dolls I was able to find. Now, some of my videos have been getting insanely long, so we're gonna have multiple categories over multiple days for this one. So 3 different videos, but these videos are still probably going to be really long because there are like 75 dolls in total that we're going to be looking at. Okay, so to clarify, I'm going to be ranking these dolls or picking the scariest ones based on the vibes. I know it's super scientific, but I just wanted to put that out there. What you find scary is not necessarily what I find scary, and vice versa. And I know that that is so insanely subjective that I don't want my vote to be the only one that shows which doll is the scariest. So if during these 3 videos you would like to comment on which doll you found creepiest, or dolls, or even if you just agree with the dolls I've chosen, I would love to hear your input. That way, if there's like a fan favorite of creepiness that I didn't pick, maybe we can squeeze it into the championship. And if you would also like to share why you found it creepy, that would be super duper cool as well. Pretty much all of the dolls I'm including here were available commercially. They're not from movies. They're not reproductions from movies of like creepy dolls. They're not haunted dolls, and they're not one-off art dolls. If you think only old dolls can be creepy, we're gonna challenge that today. We are starting with modern dolls, so nothing vintage, maybe something like a little retro, but no vintage dolls in this video. While making my list, I have avoided looking at too much about the dolls, so we're going to also react to them together. With that said, I think we can go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're gonna start off nice and easy with some Playline dolls. And first of all, we are going to start with Monster High's Pennywise doll. This doll was released in 2021 by Mattel. Okay, so my first impressions of this doll are, it's very cool. The shoes are super cool. There's a lot of detail put into it. I don't think it's scary. It is based on a horror character, but it doesn't have the same punch in the stomach that the actual Pennywise does. So I'm gonna give this one a 1 out of 5, I guess. I guess we'll rank these like 1 to 5. I'm giving this one a 1, but it's very cool, but it's not scary. Okay, this next doll, I kind of eeped into this category. Even though it was released in 1997, I can't think of myself as vintage yet, so I couldn't count this doll as vintage either, but it still seemed kind of creepy, so I definitely wanted to take a look at it, and that is going to be the My Twin dolls, and they were made by My Twin Inc. I can't find an actual commercial for these. I'm trying to find like the ads.
Oh gosh, this cute. And the wigs. Maybe I'll show you too how to take off the wig in a different video, but I want to get...
Okay, yeah, this one is definitely creepier. I think what's making it creepier for me is, number one, the size of it. They do appear quite large. I don't know why, but I thought they were going to be more like 18 inches. I also think that the creepy factor of them is either they're made to look like an actual kid, which is like kind of uncanny valley for me, but also that like when people buy them used, are they just buying like a replica of someone's child? Because that's weird too. Okay, I wouldn't say these are exactly scary, but they are definitely unsettling and creepy. I think I'll give this one like a 3, maybe? Pretty solid for a Playline doll, actually. Next up on the list, we have some plushies. Now, plushies aren't exactly dolls, but I wanted to include them. We're gonna talk about the Furry Bones plushes from the early 2010s-ish. And I'm only including these because, number one, they were released in the early 2010s, and they are made intentionally creepy. There's going to be a lot of dolls in these lists that are unintentionally creepy. So I thought it would be fun to include some of the ones that were made to be spooky or scary. So let's check out Furry Bones. Okay, the music is not selling. Okay, I know in the case of a lot of these, I might have to mute the music in case it's copywritten. However, This isn't scary. It's so freaking cute. Send me 5. Let me just look at a different video. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that these aren't scary. Again, this is falling into the very cool, but more creepy cute than anything. I wouldn't call this scary, but I would give it also like a 1 out of 5. Okay, in the same or similar vein, we have Fugglers. Now, I have seen Fugglers before, but we'll look at them. So if you haven't seen them, you know what they are. But it is basically another plushie that is made to be kind of ugly or creepy. Anyways, the Fugglers were launched in 2018. They're pretty popular. I still see them at like Toys R Us now, so people are obviously buying them. They are cute. I don't think they're as cute as the furry bones, but they're not scary or creepy either. So again, 1 out of 5, I guess. Okay, so the next one I think is going to be a little creepier. This is Amazing Amanda. She was made by Playmates Toys. I think it was like early 2000s, like maybe like 2004, 2005-ish. The blurb I have about it is interactive companion doll. And anytime dolls like talk or like move, I always think that jumps up their creep factor immensely for me. So let's check out Amazing Amanda.
Start the day with Amanda.
That's me. Time for breakfast, Amanda. Surprise me, Mommy. I'll close my eyes. Silly, Mommy. Cookie nap for breakfast?
It's amazing. She really knows.
Amanda, you want to sing? Let's sing Toesies. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little toesies. You really understand. I love you more than bunnies.
New Amazing Amanda. She talks and really understands you. Adult setup required, batteries not included.
No, that would not ever be in my house. It's not just that it talks and seemingly like understands you. Also in 2005, that seems like pretty wild technology. Closes its eyes and the mouth moves. I don't like that. I think you can probably see what kind of stuff is starting to creep me out. I'm gonna give Amazing Amanda like a 3.5 soft 4. I don't think she's creepy enough to like, I'd be like, get that thing away from me right now, but she is creepy enough that I would not ever purchase one. So Amazing Amanda is gonna get an amazingly soft 4 from me, which does make her the creepiest doll we've seen so far. I feel like 4 is really generous for her, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, we just have a couple more Playline dolls to go through, and then we're going to move into other dolls. So the next one we're going to talk about is Mystics Vampires. These are from the early 2010s, and they were made by a company called Play Hut. Okay, I see why they were suggested. I think as an adult, I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat. I do think it's weird that you can see both faces at once. I don't know about that. Kind of creepy. I guess I'll give it a 3. Okay, finally we have My Scene Fab Faces. Now, these were made in 2005 by Mattel. And this is another doll where the face moves. So let's check out My Scene Fab Faces. I also hate that. I really hate the way the face looks when it's moving. The positions don't look like, if each of those facial positions was its own face, the doll would be really creepy. I see what they were trying to do, but I hate it. And I'm going to give that a 3.5 soft 4 as well. I really don't like that. I feel like I'm going to end up breaking the scale, and I'm not going to have anywhere to go from there. So, you know. Okay, I feel like that was a pretty soft start, and I still even think that I think I'm going to move Amazing Amanda and the My Scene Fab Faces down to 3.5. I don't feel good about giving them 4s because I feel like it can get so much scarier from here. So we're going to move them back down to strong 3s, but those are the creepiest of that bunch. We're going to take it up a notch, and we're going to look at some collector dolls. Collector dolls are typically marketed at more mature people and adults, so we'll probably see some creepier things in here. But speaking of collector dolls and of kind of creepy cute dolls, I just want to remind everybody that the pre-order for Raven and Edgar actually opens up tomorrow. Okay, with that sorted, let's check out some creepy collector dolls. Starting off with the Living Dead dolls. Now, I asked over on Instagram for people to suggest creepy dolls to me, and I got this one about 30 times. I've actually seen these before being sold at like conventions and all of that in the dealer's hall, so I'm kind of familiar with them. These were launched in 1998, but they're still being made today. So let's take a look at the, in general, Living Dead dolls. Okay, I think that those are pretty cool, if I'm going to be honest. They're creepy, and I think kids would definitely not like them. I think I would give them a 2. Because I do still think that the faces are, in general, all looking pretty cute. Now, there is an exception to this rule because I stumbled across this one as I was perusing, and I did obviously get to see it, but I just wanted to show you the Living Dead dolls, the Silent Hill Nurse. She's newer, and I do actually think she's quite creepy. Okay, so I think this is actually helped by the fact that she doesn't have really a face. She just has like bloody mouth. So while I think the other Living Dead dolls are a 2, I think this one's like a 3, maybe a 3.5. Because it's not interactive, it doesn't talk, and it doesn't uncanny valley me. It's really hard to push it up to a 3.5, but I think definitely a solid 3. They do have some other ones that were like at this level of creepy. Anytime it's an animal or doesn't have a face properly, it's like the creep factor jumps right, like anytime it's like an animal or doesn't have a proper face, the creep factor on these dolls jumps way up for me. But yeah, I would say probably general Living Dead dolls 2, this particular one and a couple others, maybe a 3. Another one that a bunch of people suggested to me was Honey Lambs. Now, some people mentioned to me that Honey Lambs, which is like, it is an independent artist, but they do also commercially make plushes and dolls. Some people mentioned that, well, they're just plushes, but yeah, Honey Lambs does make dolls, and the one that is making this list is one of their dolls. So also to mention, Honey Lambs started around mid-2010s, and they're still making dolls now. You can check them out. Okay, let's check out Honey Lambs. Do you see what I mean? They are one-off art dolls, but she's posted a few of them, and they all kind of have this like messed up face vibe, and that's why I was okay with including them in this list. It's not just like a one-off, I did this one time. There are multiple of this style of doll, even though they were kind of like one-of-a-kinds. But yeah, there's this doll is definitely freaky. The face looks like it's melting. There's like a shiny quality to the skin. Everything looks kind of like lumpy, but intentionally. Things look like they're peeling. So yeah, she was super creepy. And for that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and give Honey Lambs dolls in particular like a 4. This is super freaky, like whew. Okay, next up we have the Watch Over Voodoo dolls. Now, if you think you haven't heard of these, you absolutely have. They are like little keychain sized dolls that are basically sold everywhere. They're like these early 2010s to current, like little mini voodoo dolls. They started out with mostly creepy lines, but now they have like superhero ones and stuff. So we can take a look at them.
Of Watch Over Voodoo dolls have been about dark spells or eerie curses. They are all about spreading good vibes and a message and bell as a reminder of positive intentions.
Okay, so the dolls are meant to be positive and not creepy. And I think that really comes through in the way they look. I think they're super cute. There's nothing menacing about these little guys. I just think they're like a fun little friend. I'm going to give these a 1 out of 5 on how creepy I think they are. From the year 2003, from Bleeding Edge, we have the Bleeding Edge Goth dolls. again, these are really cool. I think it's awesome. I feel like early 2010 we got, okay. I feel like the early 2010s, and early 2000s, we did get a lot more like goth inspired media and toys. Like what kids shows are like goth now? Like we had Ruby Gloom, we had like, oh my god, I can't, Mona, I think. I can't, Mona the Vampire. We had, oh my god, I can't even think of them, but there was a whole slew of like goth kids TV shows. It doesn't exist now, and like it's very cool that while these were like marketed towards adult collectors, they do appear as though kids could play with them, and I think it is amazing that that was an option and that they were like commercially available. I just think that's super cool. However, on creep factor, I am going to give them a 2. They're more cool than creepy. Although, again, because there are some with, like, a little blood on them, or, like, really kind of creepy eye makeup, or, like, really light irises, it's possible that some might find them a little creepier, but, yeah, I'm going to give them a 2. Okay, still in the collector sphere, but I think we're about to take kind of a deep dive into the kind of thing that freaks me out. We're going to talk about reborns. Now, no hate to reborns. I completely get the appeal of them, the art of them, how difficult they are to make, and why people would want them. While they're not for me, I do want to take a minute and we can like look at one or two that personally, like kind of the concept of freaks me out. Because reborns are made by artists and are typically one of a kind, although they can use the same mold, this is more of a concept than a specific doll, and it is something you can still get. And that is a breathing reborn. I'm going to give that a 3.5. They freak me out. I just don't like them. It's hard for me to explain it. I think because they're so realistic, it's almost like they pass Uncanny Valley, and somebody walking by with that doll could convince me it was a real baby, and that freaks me out. But I'm going to use those as a segue into a doll brand that makes reborns. It's a doll company. It's something more widely produced and less of a one-off, and that's going to be Baby Clon. So these are hyper-realistic baby dolls. There's a whole slew of different features, but the one that is being featured in this list is an animatronic baby doll. These are purchasable. You can go and buy one of these if this is your thing. But let's take a look at one of their animatronic type baby dolls. I'm not going to say more about that. I'm going to give that a 4 to a 4.5. Again, I know that's kind of like a weird in-between number, but maybe I should have done 1 to 10, but we're this far in now. So we're going to say maybe a 4.5 on that one, maybe a 5. Personally, it's like a disturb for me. Again, if it's not for you and you love them, I get it. I see the artistry. I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just really, really not for me. So I'm going to, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and give it a 5. That spooks me. I don't know if we're going to see one that freaks me out more than that, but we will try. All right, so that's where I'm kind of wrapping up on collector dolls. The top ones for me are that Honey Lambs doll with the face that looks like it's melting off, and the Baby Clon dolls. I would include the Breathing Reborns, but I feel like the Baby Clon one being an actual brand, and the fact that it both breathes and moves, and yeah, so again, not for me. The Silent Hill Nurse doll is pretty creepy too. I'm going to go ahead and include that as well, just because Living Dead dolls were suggested to me so hard, and I do find that one extra creepy. Also helped by the fact that it is a bobblehead type, so it almost looks like a baby again. Okay, so would this be a Teeny Tinkers Dolls video if we didn't talk about ball jointed dolls? There's actually so many creepy and horror themed ball jointed dolls on the market now or previously. And most ball jointed dolls didn't hit the Western market until like 2000 anyway, so all of these fall under modern dolls, even though I think especially most of these were made in the last few years. The following ball jointed dolls have either been haunting me for a couple of years since I've seen them, or were suggested to me by people on my Instagram. Also, there's rarely videos of these dolls. They are mostly going to be listings from BJD dealers or the artists themselves, so just keep that in mind. Let's hop right into ball jointed dolls. We're going to start off with Doll Chateau Irma. Now, Doll Chateau has a lot of horror-themed ball jointed dolls, but this one and the way it's painted often are the ones that kind of I found the spookiest and have been like up on top of my creepy dolls list for eons. It's the way she's painted, it's the color palette, it's like her being all ripped open. She's like, her body's basically a skeleton. There's blood. Her ribs are poking out. Like, it looks like thorns are protruding from her body. Like, she's very spooky. As far as BJDs go, I think I'm going to have to give her a 4 because this is a doll that if I wasn't into ball jointed dolls and I came across her, or if she was featured as a monster in a movie, I would find her very unnerving. I don't know. I just think she's fantastic, and I have to give her a 4. She's super creepy. From, I believe, 2016, we have Ring Doll Zombie Saul. So let's look at him. Ooh, his face is like ripped open. That's super cool. He is fairly gory. Oh, especially in his arm. It's definitely like torn open. And like the empty eye socket, like with just the white eye, his wounds, he's pretty freaky looking too, honestly. Ooh. I don't find him as freaky as Irma, although the sculpting is incredible on him. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a 3. He's creepy, but he's more just amazing, I think, than creepy, at least to me. Doll Zone is another BJD company that makes kind of spooky or like fantasy-esque dolls, but we're going to pick one to focus on, and that's going to be Moon and Star. Okay, so it's technically 2, but they're, I think, largely sold as a set. So these are only like half dolls. So typically ball jointed dolls have torsos and legs. These ones do not. They basically end where their spinal cord or their spine ends. Them being like torn apart in this way is very cool and spooky. They're painted beautifully. It's not as gory as Ring Doll Saul. It definitely has more of a porcelain quality. The face sculpts themselves are very ethereal and beautiful and not quite human, which I really like. For that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and give these a 3 out of 5 as well. Spooky, beautifully done, but this doesn't freak me out personally. The next 2 are from Miracle Doll, and I am including both because they are very, very, very different. Miracle Doll is another BJD company if you're into like horror, spooky, creepy, cute. So the sculpting itself is really, again, very cool and beautiful. There's like horns protruding out of his shoulders, his ribs are on display, his hip bone or his leg socket is sticking out, there's scars down his face. But when you get into the painted pictures, it really becomes very, very cool. I think it's even gorier in some ways than the zombie from Ring Doll. And just all of the kind of horn details are like making it a little bit more monster to me, even though zombies are technically monsters. But like, I am still going to give it a 3 on the Creep Master, although I do think, again, the artistry on this is phenomenal. Also from Miracle Doll, maybe slightly less creepy. I'm not really sure. It depends on your definition of creepy, again. But then we have Miracle Doll Lion Beast. Now, if you find like anthropomorphic dolls or creatures creepy, you'll probably find this pretty creepy. So this is Lion Beast. So this is a super buff man with the head of a lion. He doesn't give me Uncanny Valley. I personally don't find anthro dolls that creepy, so I'm gonna give him like a 1 or a 2 on how creepy he is. Next up in BJDs, we have Circus King Kameko. Now, forever ago, I made a video called The BJDs That Haunt My Dreams, And there was just a handful of dolls in that list, and those dolls, some of them have carried through to this video, and the next 2 dolls are examples of that. So Circus King Kameko is like a super long, lanky doll, but what is extra creepy about him is he has so many eye holes, like and they're inset eyes the same way regular BJD eyes would be. So, I mean, you would have to buy a lot of eyes for this doll. He's spooky. Like, to me, like, having this many eyes or like this many holes in the face, that's really spooky to me. Yeah, I think this one stands. I'm gonna give this one a 4. Then, of course, we have Dollit's Miso. Now, Dollit's Miso is a beautiful ball jointed doll. She's amazingly sculpted, but she hits Uncanny Valley so hard for me. She is a doll I could not have in my house. If I walked by her, like, I feel unsettled. I've seen her in real life, and it stands in real life for me as well. So, like, even the styled photos, it's both too real and not real enough. And I'm just also like, what's so funny? What's so funny, Miso? And she creeps me out. I'm gonna give her a 4.5. Like, okay, this is a smaller independent artist, I believe, because I had never heard of this until it was suggested by somebody on my Instagram, but it is Cirque de Phantoms Corvus. So this is an Etsy seller. You can go get this doll right now if you want it. They are 3D printed, but they do make a bunch of different horror dolls. I found this crow one to be extremely cool. The body is pretty skeletal. The feet have like talons. It's empty in the inside. It doesn't have wings, so it's kind of like a weird bird skeleton person hybrid. However, I don't find it super creepy. I find it super cool, so I'm going to give it a 2. And finally, we have an artist called Trey Janufu. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Now, they make, again, a bunch of horror or creepy cute, and I think they're slightly newer as well, maybe like 2010 forward. It's hard to pick one exact doll. I just picked this one, which is UU number 7.5, and the head opens. I think it's just amazing engineering and very, very cool. I'm going to give this one like a 1 or a 2. I don't find them particularly scary. I do find the mechanics of them and like the concepts amazing though. So I think it's great to shout them out in the creepy dolls. Honestly, I am a sucker for a good horror ball jointed doll, and I have a really hard time kind of picking my favorites of these, but based on creep factor for me alone, I'm going to have to say Dollit's Miso. That Uncanny Valley effect is so big for me. I'm also going to move along Circus King Kameko as well as Dollit's Miso. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the first part of this series. So the dolls that I am moving along to the next round are Miso, Irma, Kaneko, the Silent Hill Nurse, the Baby Clone dolls, the Honey Lambs dolls, the My Scene Fab Faces dolls, Amazing Amanda, and the My Twin dolls. If you find any of the other dolls scarier, go ahead and leave me a comment and we can see about moving them along instead, or as well, rather. If you agree with my picks, you can also comment and let me know if you agree or if any of the ones I picked are super creepy to you too. Next week, we're looking at vintage dolls, which is sure to be super creepy. At least for me, that's the kind of doll that always gives me the heebie-jeebies, so I'm really excited to look at those with you. The bar is set high, so make sure you come watch. All right, for now, if you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're new here and like this content, please go ahead and consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastically spooky day.